And we're live. ¿Qué tal, amigo? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live news update. We'll see what's happening here in Spain as far as news is concerned. Today, the 4th of March, 2025, 7:35 p.m. So the usual kickoff time for the live streams today. Around the 15-minute mark, we'll go into the comment section, check out what is happening there. And then around the 20-minute mark, we'll go into the live chat and say hello to the viewers who are watching live today in that live chat. So if you are there, say hello in the live chat, please. Now we'll get straight into the news, and more news about what happened on that fateful day back on the 29th of October 2024 is coming to light. As we can see here, the emergency number 112 received over 15,000 emergency calls before Mazón's government issued the Dana alert on the 29th of October, the day of the Dana storm that resulted in 224 deaths and 3 missing persons. The Valencian Community's 112 emergency hotline received nearly 20,000 distress calls. More than 15,000 of these were made before the government of Carlos Mazón from the People's Party, the PP, sent an ES alert system warning to residents' mobile phones at 8:11 p.m., alerting them to the torrential rains. This information is detailed in a report submitted by the Valencian Generalitat's Security and Emergency Agency, which oversees the 112 service, to Nuria Ruiz Tobarra, the judge presiding over the first instance and investigating court number 3 in Catarroja. The judge is conducting a criminal investigation into how various administrations handled the disaster. According to additional documents included in the case file, most of the victims were elderly individuals with limited mobility who either lost their lives, became trapped, or went missing before receiving the alert. So there we go, quite clear. 15,000 emergency calls made before the Valencian government decided to react. I wonder what went on exactly that day. The phones must have been running hot, people trying to get through to the people in charge to tell them what was going on. I mean, you can't deny 15,000 calls as not being something serious, but politicians, as we saw, were not taking it seriously, and the warning alert didn't go out until 11 past 8 p.m. on that fateful day, as I said. And the president of the Generalitat didn't get to the emergency coordination center until close to 8:30. So that's what we are dealing with, trying to work out exactly what went wrong on the day, whether it was the Valencian government's fault, whether it was due to the central government. Who knows, probably both parties at fault there, but some shocking information starting to come to light as to what happened on that day, as I said. As a result of the storm down there in Valencia, we know that the Generalitat president, Carlos Mazón, is under serious pressure. Lots of people calling for his head. But as we can read here, the leader of that political party at a national level, Mr. Feijóo, has avoided backing Mazón and says neither he nor the central government lived up to expectations during the Dana. The leader of the People's Party, Alberto Núñez Feijóo, has avoided endorsing the handling of the Dana crisis by the president of the Valencian Generalitat, Carlos Mazón. However, he spread the blame, stating that neither the central nor regional administration lived up to expectations in responding to the emergency. Feijóo insisted that his position has remained the same since the 29th of October, the day of the Dana. The position of the PP has been clear from the very beginning, and therefore we are not going to change it every 10 days, he told journalists. He was responding to questions about whether he had asked Mazón to resign after it was confirmed that he did not arrive at the Emergency Coordination Center until 8:28 p.m., 15 minutes after the 112 emergency services had sent the alarm messages to Valencians. Furthermore, Feijóo remarked that neither government had lived up to expectations in dealing with this environmental emergency. So fairly clear there that Mr. Mazón is losing support by the day. Mr. Feijóo saying here that that government didn't live up to expectations, neither the central government, and not giving his support to Mr. Mathon. So the clock is ticking for that gentleman, and I imagine it's only going to be a question of days, maybe weeks, possibly months, hopefully not years, before he resigns or loses his position down there. Feijóo is saying that Mathon's responsibility is to rebuild Valencia, so we'll see how he is going with that task. Again, time will tell, and we'll soon see whether it is on track or not, the rebuild in the Valencian community. Unfortunately, as we have seen over the last few days, more heavy rains have fallen here in Spain, especially in that area, the Valencian community. Also, Andalusia in Almeria, and also Murcia has been hit by very, very heavy rain in recent times, and the alerts are out, orange alerts out in various parts of the Mediterranean currently as I speak. Luckily for one couple who were travelling in their camper van in Almeria at the weekend, their day didn't turn into a tragedy. As we can see here, 2 elderly people were rescued from a flash flood in Cuevas de Almanzora. The swift response of the Civil Guard and Civil Protection Services led to the successful rescue of 2 foreign nationals aged 78 and 79 who became trapped inside their caravan along with their 2 dogs after being caught in a flash flood at the Quitapellejos beach in the municipality of Cuevas de Almanzora, Almeria. The emergency call was received at 15:40 hours or 3:40 p.m. on the 1st of March by the Civil Guard's operational services in Almeria. 062 is the number, following an alert from the Andalusian Emergency Service 112. The caller, a visibly distressed woman who struggled to communicate in Spanish, reported that floodwaters had risen to the level of the vehicle's windows. And here is an image of the lady in question being rescued by the Civil Guard, who, as we saw, were quick onto that case there after the calls came in with their dogs. The Civil Guard with their dog, their big dog there, obviously, and the pensioner who was enjoying a holiday here in Spain with her husband and her 2 dogs, trapped by this flash flood. And I've got to be honest, if you are traveling in Spain at any time of the year nowadays, from what we have seen, maybe not in the summer months, you won't get hit by one of these flash floods or heavy downpours. But other times of the year, you have to be on your guard. Have the emergency service numbers ready. Speak a little bit of Spanish, because it's going to help you in the case of an emergency, as we saw there with those 2 elderly people trapped in their caravans. Not sure where they were from. Foreigners we saw, maybe Germans, maybe British, who knows. But down here trying to enjoy a little bit of warmer weather, and almost ending up in tragedy, as we saw. Changing the topic now, and all of the talk in the newspapers today is about the Ukrainian crisis, the European crisis as a result, what Europe is going to do. And Spain has spoken up and is proposing financing EU defence with European funds. Spain considers security to be a European public good, meaning that no single EU member state can guarantee its own security alone. Therefore, it is essential to work collectively within the EU framework, as well as in NATO and alliances with like-minded countries to ensure it. This is the foundation of Spain's vision for the future of European defence, which the Spanish government submitted on Monday to the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Spain's contribution, along with those of other EU partners, will help shape the white paper that von der Leyen has committed to presenting on the 19th of March. This document will need to be approved by EU heads of state and government at the summit in June. And the breaking news today was that Ms. von der Leyen, the European Union President, said that she's going to find 800 billion, I think was the figure, to rearm Europe, basically, get them readied for the potential threats that could be coming if you listen to some of the experts and pundits out there. So Ms. von der Leyen promising a huge amount of money, not sure exactly where the European Union is going to get it from, because they're not flushed with cash, I don't think. And Spain proposing, as we can see, that each country finances its own. With European funds and not financing their own military rebuild. So Spain wanting everyone to chip in. We'll see if they are successful or not with that proposal. And related to the same topic, Spain's Foreign Minister, Mr. Albares, has stated that Spain has no issue with sending troops, but considers it premature to discuss deployment in Ukraine. The Spanish Minister of Foreign Affairs, José Manuel Albares, reiterated on Monday that it is premature to discuss the proposal of deploying European troops to Ukraine. However, he emphasized that Spain has no issue with such decisions within the framework of a peace plan, as it already participates in similar missions worldwide, such as the UNIFIL mission in Lebanon. During an interview with RNE, the state broadcaster, Albares stressed that any peace agreement in Ukraine must be just and lasting, rather than a ceasefire that merely serves as a pause between two wars or gives the aggressor time to rearm, regain strength and attack again. In a separate statement to Telecinco TV channel, the foreign minister also remarked that it is premature to talk about peacekeeping forces when there is still no peace, and questioned whether what some refer to as peace is merely a prolonged ceasefire. So Spain's position on that, no issue with sending troops, but it's too early, according to the foreign minister. So as I said, European governments trying to work out exactly what to do with the hot potato that is the Ukrainian-Russian conflict, which we know people are trying to put an end to with various different methods. And we'll see if they are successful or not when it comes to this war, which has been going on, let's be honest, for a while now. Now, where am I? I have to put this on the screen as we are going into the comment section, checking out some of the comments that have been left on the channel in recent times. The first one here from Teddy. I like your pronunciation, Stuart. I'm only half an hour from Murcia. Never been to Tenerife, but it's on the list. The Brits take ages to get their lips around the common words, even after many years of living here. Great content as usual. Thanks, Teddy, for that. Yeah, language can be a problem for English speakers. I know that from experience, having learnt a second language, trying to learn a third language, not easy. And I've seen my parents and family members struggle here in Spain getting their mouths around even some very basic words. So it's not easy, I understand that, but where there's a will, there is a way. And nowadays, fundamental, I believe, or it always has been fundamental to try and learn a little bit of the language, at least how to pronounce some of the main names here in Spain when it comes to towns and cities and things like that. Because if you get stuck in your camper van in Murcia and you're trying to call the police and saying Murcia, they might not understand where you are. So learn to pronounce the words properly, especially given the situation that we've seen in recent times. Fundamental to be able to speak the words properly with the correct pronunciation. Thanks, Teddy, for that. We saw that one. Another one here from Jen. Pretty certain that those who try to check you read the American politics and tell you to stay in your lane, they're MAGA keyboard warriors who love nothing more than to shut down factual information that exposes the fraudster. And now we know for certain Russian asset Krasnov. I have no deal with one of these MAGA warriors on one of your videos. I had to deal with one of these MAGA warriors on one of your videos just a few weeks ago. Ignore them. Do your thing, Stu. Thanks, Jen. Yep, I have been told to stay in my lane in recent times, and more people, as a result of me mentioning that the other day, have come on board saying, yeah, good idea, stick in your lane. We don't want you talking about politics that doesn't concern you. Well, the fact of the matter is that politics does concern us, and it does concern all of us. The word politic in itself is pretty much self-explanatory, right? We are the politics, so it concerns us. Maybe not people's individual points of view and people that try to force points of view on you. But the other day, all I mentioned was a certain name in one of the videos, and that's why I was told to keep in my lane, because people are very sensitive for whatever reason regarding certain politicians at the moment. So thanks, Jen, for that. And yeah, I'll keep on being me. I'll talk about things that pop up in the news here, whether it relates to Spain or not, if it has any type of importance with what's happening not only in this country but also in the European Union, and it's making the press here. People need to know what the Spanish press are talking about. So that's what we'll keep on doing. Thanks, Jan, for the comment. And sorry to see that you had to deal with angry keyboard warriors, as you say there, by leaving a comment on the channel. That shouldn't happen. Thanks, Jen, for that. Another one here from Ed. Someone needs to tell the Spanish government that excellent infrastructure also includes stormwater abatement, functioning and well-designed sewer systems. Of course, with the corruption in my former country, not surprised one bit. Thanks, Ed, for that. Yep, I think that is something that has been neglected. We're seeing now that every time it rains a little bit more than usual, streets are flooding, drain systems can't cope, and sewer systems, as we saw there, put forward by the person who used to live in Spain. Yeah, former country, so obviously moved somewhere else. But yeah, it is an issue. And what happened in Valencia, infrastructure was to blame. Sure, there was a lot of rain, but we know that Valencia city has dealt with that issue, weren't affected, but places next to Valencia, which had terrible infrastructure still, are left with the damage still there. And we're seeing all the time, as I just mentioned, places here in Spain that are getting flooded because the infrastructure cannot handle the rains. So something has to be done. I saw that Murcia is investing 80 million euros in their flood plan. Let's see if it is successful, because lots of water has fallen in that part of Spain in recent times. One person died, unfortunately, as a result of those floods the other day, got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Perhaps should have listened to the warnings and stayed at home, but wasn't the case, and is now deceased as a result. So it's getting serious, and governments need to put more emphasis, I think, as that person suggests there, on the drainage infrastructure, and perhaps stop building so many of these paseo marítimos that stop the water from flowing into the oceans. That would be a good idea as well. Another one here from, we saw that one. I'm off track today. One here from Simon. We have had rain since Friday, and the forecast is for the end of the week at least. In inland Almeria, my pool is nearly overflowing. Thanks, Simon. We saw the story before of those two elderly people stuck in their caravan. The waters arose very, very quickly. Almeria was the province. So again, we have to be careful with the amount of rain that is falling nowadays. Especially in the Mediterranean parts of the country. Murcia, Almeria, Malaga was also hit the other day as well. Castellón, Valencia, Alicante, watch out. Another one here from Susanna. Thanks for putting the dates at the top of the news updates. Many online publications do not do this, and in these changing times, it's totally necessary. Thanks, Susanna, for that. Yeah, I do make an effort to put the date at the top of the news so that people know when exactly it made the press here. Sometimes I might forget to change the date, or once I forgot to change the year. I had 2024 up there and it was 2025 already. Sometimes maybe the month might be a bit off, but people bring my attention to that normally, and I do change it. So thanks, Susanna, for that. One here from Victoria. My friend who lives in Spain gave me a great tip for learning Spanish. Excuse me. All the vowels are pronounced more like lowercase letters, as you'd learn them when starting to learn the English alphabet. So A isn't pronounced A, it's pronounced A. E isn't pronounced E, it sounds, instead it is pronounced E. I is pronounced E. O is pronounced O. And U is pronounced oo. This makes it much easier with correct pronunciation of words. Thanks, Victoria, for that. Absolutely true. The Spanish vowel system, exactly the same as the English vowel system, A, E, I, O, U. The difference between the two languages is that English can have around 12 or 13 different vowel sounds, whereas in Spanish, there's only 5 vowels and 5 vowel sounds. They never change. They're always pronounced the same. So in English, for example, maybe the vowel A is pronounced differently according to the word you are speaking. No examples come straight to the top of my head at the moment, but you know what I'm speaking about, right? Whereas here in Spain, they don't modify at all. So as you see the vowel, or as you see the letter in the alphabet, that is the way that it is pronounced. That is the sound. Whereas English has a lot more variations and a lot more complicated for people to learn, in my opinion, of course. Thanks, Victoria, for that. And just pointing out there all of the different sounds in Spanish with the vowels a, e, I, o, u. There we go. That's it. And every word that contains a vowel will have that exact sound. And the final one here from David, driving here for over 15 years, my advice to anyone is drive defensively, I think that word is. They drive way too close to the car in front, and most locals drive in flip-flops and t-shirts while either texting or using their phones, where we live. Thanks, David. Not sure where you live, but yeah, it might be a little bit dangerous for people driving around in flip-flops and sending text messages or WhatsApps at the same time. I don't think it would be everybody. You might see some people doing this, but the majority, I don't think so. I think the majority of people follow the road rules here. Most people are sensible enough to realize that mobile phones, the use of mobile phones when driving can be very, very dangerous. And if you speak to any police officer in the traffic section here in Spain, they'll tell you that every time there is a serious accident, the first thing police officers do, obviously they try to remove bodies from the car, but they check the person's mobile phone. And he said you would be surprised as to how many times they check somebody's phone and people were on the phone at the time of the accident, and often resulting in death. So that's what we're dealing with here as far as phone use in the car is concerned. Not a problem here. Go onto YouTube and you can see people that deliberately ride around on push bikes, catching people out doing this type of thing. I think Cycling Mikey is one guy's name, who rides around London pulling people up on this and then sending complaints to the police. Not very popular, I don't think, is Cycling Mikey, but that's what he does. He's like a vigilante, and of course every country has people like this that basically don't follow the rules, but a minority, I would say. I could be wrong, but I think so. And regarding the other thing here, driving defensively, yeah, sometimes people are a little bit too close to you, but yeah, it's just the way it is. Driving here, defensively or not, the objective is to drive as well as you can and try to avoid accidents if possible. But not always easy. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to go into the live chat in just a moment. We'll see what the activity is there. I've got to change the backdrop first. Let me see if I can find the photo in question. I think I've lost it here. Let me see if I can bring it back into my video here. A photo that was sent in by Dwight. Here we go. I found it. And it is the Jardín de Diana, which is on top of the Hyatt Hotel in Madrid. And Dwight recently in Madrid, obviously, taking a photo here. So a different type of backdrop photo today sent in by Dwight. Thank you very much for that. If you've got a similar picture you would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is spainspeaks@gmail.com. As Dwight has done, sending me this photo. You can do the same if you've got a snap taken here in Spain. Something interesting like this one here. It can be a mountain shot, a beach shot. We saw a crowded beach the other day, which was also a fantastic shot by Eddie. So thanks, guys, for sending the photos through. And anyone else can do it at spainspeaks@gmail.com. The like icon is going on the screen too. If I can find it, I might have lost that one as well. So I think I have actually. I can't find the like button. Ah, there it is. There it is. Oh, no, it's not working either today, the like button. But anyway, you know, oh, there it is. There's the like button on the screen. So if you could do us a favor and hit the like icon, please, and we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally of likes today, currently at 79 with 185 people watching currently. So smash that like button if you can find it, basically. Now, the people that have supported the channel, always very important to say thanks to the supporters. I'm thinking of maybe putting up the individual names of all of the people that support the channel, so we can highlight the economic support that people give through the super thanks, super chat, buying me a coffee, Patreon supporters, longer term supporters on Patreon, and also the channel members that have jumped on board in recent times from 99 cents a month. Thank you very much for becoming a channel member, and as I said, helping to keep the videos flowing in 2025. I have a plan to put out quite a few videos this year, so any support will come in handy for that. Now, into the chat section I'm going to go. I think I saw a super chat from Marcus, regular contributor. We saw one from Marcus the other day. The worst pronunciation of Spanish place names comes from SatNav set to English language guidance. It's atrocious. Absolutely, Marcus. Street names as well. Absolutely atrocious. That's exactly right. I have noticed that the technology is improving with some apps nowadays. For example, when I'm driving in my car and I get a WhatsApp, and I hit the button and it converts from English into Spanish, automatic translation. So the tech is out there. I wonder when Google or whoever, whichever sat-nav you use, will get around to the correct pronunciation of street names and also place names, as we can see here, because it gets confusing, I will say. Thanks, Marcus, for that. Now, let me scroll up to the top. Andrew, the first person that I can see today, coming in from a cold London southeast, but it's sunny there, which is a pro. Hoping we're all well. Thanks, Andrew, for that. John also coming in from the UK. Tough day at work, so Cruz Campo and the live to the rescue. Have a great week. Thank you very much, John. Good to see you. Janet's in the chat too. All valued members, of course, as we have seen so far. Just had pancakes, which were delicious. Thanks, Janet. I saw a recipe the other day. Well, it wasn't a recipe so much, but a way to cook pancakes in an air fryer. Looked interesting. Don't know whether it would be successful or not, but something I must try. Pancakes in the air fryer. Stephen coming in from, weather warning in Torrevieja. And that's one of the parts of Spain affected, of course. Stephen, Mediterranean. Lots of parks closed due to the forecast. Even the venue of our urbanization's AGM has been moved to an indoor location, usually at the pool, in case the pool floods, I imagine. Yeah, parks get closed because of the strong winds. There's always a risk that a branch might snap off and crack somebody's skull open, as we've seen in the past. A friend of mine's mother died that way, unfortunately, many, many years ago. Was outside doing something. Pine tree branch split, fell down, and bang on her head. So it was an unfortunate way to die for that lady. Stephen again saying, hope everyone is having a good week so far. Spring-like conditions in North London. My ring camera in Torrevieja is showing the opposite, but the rain is needed, I suppose. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, the rain is needed here, absolutely, but it's the quantity that causes problems, as we've seen. Barbara coming in too from the Playa Flamenca, valued member also. Unsettled weather continues with lots of wind, is that, and rain. Lots of wine wouldn't be too bad if you're mixing that with the wet weather, Barbara, but I think wind is what you mean there. I think so, anyway. John coming in from San Diego, 62 degrees. I thought it was 12, 16.6 Celsius, mostly sunny. Heading to Barcelona and Madrid in 2.5 weeks. Today, our stock market seems a little unsure of the wisdom of tariffs. Yeah, I've noticed that the stock markets in the US are down. I wonder why. Tariffs? Yeah. When the stock market reacts, you know that you've done something wrong and the economy doesn't like it. No. James coming in here with Kathy from Worcester. Beautiful there. Sunny and 12 degrees. Spring. Yeah, there we go. Watching with a drop of El Coto Crianza. Not a bad wine, that. El Coto. for the price, of course. Michael heading to Spain, now in San Antonio, Texas, to Astorga to start the Camino Invierno. There we go, Michael. Hope all goes well with that trip to Spain, doing the Camino de Santiago. Who's this here? Did I? Is it? Happy Carnival from somewhere. Don't know where. Barbara's corrected herself here with the wind and rain, not the wine and rain. But as I said, wine and rain, perfect combination. When it's wet outside, stay inside and drink wine. Erica coming in from a coolish terraza. Happy Mardi Gras. Waiting to eat my crepes. Dinner, everything ready for the feast. Thanks for that. Coruña is where Didai is coming in from. Yes, the Galicians love Carnival. I remember being in Galicia when the Carnival was on one year. Everyone fancy dressing and hitting the streets to different pubs and clubs. Great time is had by all. Unfortunately, the weather doesn't often accompany the Carnival in Galicia. You don't get the Brazilian scenes or the Canary Island scenes, but I even think it's wet in the Canaries at the moment. So good luck. Hope you all goes well with that. Amanda saying that it was sunny today in Shropshire. Sunny saying, very worrying to hear the storms hitting Valencia again. I was in Paiporto with my family as the Dana hit. Very scary. Yeah, a lot of people worried, Sunny, because the drainage systems aren't clean yet. And if it rains too heavily, where's the water going to go? That's what people are worried about. Storms in Valencia as well as the Canaries, Valencia, Malaga, Murcia, as we saw, Almeria. Yeah, lots of parts of the country, Janet. Even here in Madrid today, I was driving back from the Madrid mountains, about 45 minutes north of where I live, and the rain was so heavy that you couldn't see 10 meters in front of you on the road. Very, very dangerous driving conditions. But I got home safely. That's the most important thing. Alex saying that a code red has been issued for Valencia as well. So there we go. We're now in a code red situation. It was orange before, code red now. If the regional governments like the current independence from the central government, they must also take responsibility. What do they want? Great power with no responsibility. Good question, Frank. Interesting news broke today also that the Catalans have managed to score a deal. Mr. Puigdemont and company have managed to score a deal with the central government that they're going to share the responsibility of airports and take over immigration, I believe. So big news as far as that is concerned, because I don't even think in the Basque country the Basque police has any control of the airports. I don't think. But I could be wrong. But the rest of the country, when you go to an airport, it's the civil guard and the National Police on passport control, Civil Guard Customs, National Police on passport control. That is going to change as a result of the deal done today between the central government, if it gets parliamentary support, of course. Campervan had rear side door, therefore LHD, so unlikely to have been British or Irish. Thanks, Charrogate. Good to see that you picked up on that. I didn't pick up on that. Wasn't even thinking about it at all, but thanks for that. So most likely from a European country, no doubt. And let's be honest, there are many people travelling in the south of Spain at this time of the year in their camper vans, not expecting, of course, to get stuck in a flash flood at the beach. Kevo, Stuart, coming in from Alcobendas. Great to be indoors. All right, looking forward to the Derby, or Derby, however you want to say it, where I come from. Can't remember what we say. I think we say Derby, but Derby. Thanks, Kev, for that. Alex saying, we can thank the Americans who voted for a convicted felon, former TV host who managed to bankrupt several casinos for that. Thanks, Alex. I'm not going to say anything. I'll keep out of that. But you are entitled, of course, to your opinion. Renan coming in from LA, back in Spain soon. Kev spelt my name wrong. Many people do. I had somebody the other day call me Stephen. Somebody sent me an email saying, hello, Stephen. How are you? I mean, how do you get that? Stephen, Stuart, Stephen, Simon. So, yeah, thanks for that. correcting that is Kev. Alex saying also that hopefully the proposed $800 billion military fund isn't spread over too long of a time period. The imminent threats from Russia are now and not in 10 years. Well, that's it. The EU is scrambling at the moment with the threat, of course, if the Ukraine conflict is brought under control, that Mr. Putin is going to rearm and maybe head off in a different direction next time. That's the worry, of course. As I said, the experts on the topic, myself not included. Mercy, yeah, is what the police would hear. Absolutely, that's it. Where are you? Where are you? Mercy, yeah. Where? Good luck. Good luck. Janet's saying that her family takes correcting her pronunciation in Spanish very seriously. Yes, that is true. Spanish people do take pronunciation seriously, of course, unless you're dealing with a lost cause like some people obviously are, and you just give up after a while. Joan, so glad that she caught the live. This is going to visit her son, his wife and grandson with a baby on the way in Madrid, hoping my older son, girlfriend and their new baby will move. In 2026, we want to bring the whole family over, Joan. Big step, especially for kids. If you're born here, there's no problem, but if you come here as a child, it can be complicated. Gigi saying that greetings from all. The countdown is on. 60 days back in Madrid for the Camino. Gigi has a new book out as well. I'll get the information on that maybe for Thursday's live stream. We'll put a plug out for Gigi's new Camino book. Anybody who is planning on walking the Camino or has experienced the Camino, you might be interested in Gigi's writing on the topic. Carmen saying, Alex, agreeing with Alex, the emergency phone line would hear it as a Scandinavian saying thanks in French. There we go. Yeah, you got to get the pronunciation of these names and towns right. I mean, it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult, especially if you're living in the place. Chronicles. Let's have a look at this one here. Finally caught the live show. Thank you for always giving great content. My family and I are looking to move to Spain from the US in a few months. Praying for the best, Lindsay. Thanks, Lindsay, for that. Hope all goes well with your upcoming move. If the plan does go ahead, hope all goes well. Paul coming in from London, is it? I think so, or from the UK at least, I think. Spring, trying to appear. Nothing wrong with an opinion. Absolutely, Paul. Absolutely. Plenty of people have opinions out there. I don't overly express my opinion. On some things I might, say if I'm reading a news story, I might add my 20 cents worth, but I'm not putting out specific videos like a lot of people out there and just talking their opinion non-stop. And of course, some people have great viewership because people like to live in that echo chamber. Echo chamber. Now, Ad is coming in from Santa Cruz de Tenerife. Good to see you, Ad, in the chat here today. I thought I said driving with flip-flops was illegal. It is illegal, Janet. There's no specific rule that says flip-flops per se. It's adequate dress. And the Civil Guard don't consider flip-flops to be adequate dress. Because obviously your flip-flops can get stuck in the pedals and create havoc on the roads. No bare feet, no flip-flops, adequate footwear, and it's up to the discretion of the Civil Guard as to what adequate footwear is. What one person might think is adequate, another person might not. And also with a dress code as well. There are some exceptions to the vowel sounds when pronouncing foreign product names like iPhone and tapa, tuped, etc. Here in Madrid they say tuped vare. So they maintain the pronunciation there, but it is true that there are some exceptions when it comes to foreign words that have crept into the language. Doesn't seem to be any strict rules, and one of the first things I noticed here that two Japanese motorcycle brands, Honda and Yamaha, both with H's in them, The H in the word Honda is not pronounced here in Spain, Honda, but the H in Yamaha is overpronounced, Yamaha. So a little bit confusing, but I'm sure there is a rule that the Royal Academy of Language here in Spain has been working on for the last 50 years, and they might publish that result next year when they finally get around to it. We'll see. Or maybe it's already published and I don't know about it. A warning from Alex for the Americans who will be visiting Spain or Europe soon. There is a rising anti-American sentiment, unfortunately, so be extra careful or maybe postpone your vacation plans. Thanks, Alex. I haven't heard about this anti-American sentiment here in Spain. Maybe in some other parts of Europe there might be one. I don't know. I've heard there is a backlash happening at the moment for Tesla drivers, people being called nasty names because they decided to buy an electric vehicle. And of course, not knowing that the person behind the electric vehicle was who he seemingly seems to be, if I can spit that out. I think you understand what I mean by that. So, backlash on Teslas, a backlash, according to Alex here, on Americans. So we'll see. We'll see. Mark is saying, I think there's a lot of sympathy here in Europe for US Americans who've been sacked by Doge. Hopefully we can drain those skilled workers over here to migrate to the European Union. So every cloud has a silver lining there. Busy traffic areas in Spain, definitely seen tailgating, following cars too closely, such a rude, small-minded trait. Yeah, it happens, of course. Well, not only here, I've seen it in many, many places, but here people don't seem to be as annoyed if you tailgate as they seem to get in some other parts of the world. Frank saying here, with a lot of well-educated Americans will be looking to reside in the EU, I would suggest that they choose smaller towns like I did to avoid increasing housing costs, hopefully to breathe new life in those. Thanks, Frank. Good advice. Good advice there. That is, of course, that people don't need to work. If you're coming here to retire or maybe as one of those digital nomads, as they say, you can set up in a small town and, you will be helping that area here in Spain, of course. Stephen, haven't seen Stephen for a while. Just to let you know, I've never missed one of the live vlogs. I've watched it on catch up because I've been too busy being a vice president of the community back to Wales on Saturday. Good luck with the trip back, Stephen. Busy down there as the in the comunidad. Joe coming in from Lanzarote. Good to see you, Joe, and also great to catch up with you when I was in Lanzarote. And showing us around your interesting backyard with those fantastic views. Lisa saying here quickly, the learners of English often say that English is such an easy language to learn, but vowel sounds are complicated. The example you gave, A has at least 7 different sounds. Yeah, that's the issue, Lisa, the different vowel sounds and some of the words that are put together. Teddy's in the chat also. Evening. The rain at 6 p.m. this evening disturbed my snooze. Stay safe. Cheers from Villamartin on the Orihuela Costa, another part of Spain that is under a severe weather warning, I think. There is a plumbing ceiling called Loctite. Is it pronounced in Spain as Loctite? Of course, Loctite. Always amuses him. Thanks, Andrew, for that. Yes, Loctite. They'll know what you're speaking about. Yamaha or Honda, maybe ask a Japanese person. Yeah, I'm not sure what the Japanese pronunciation is there. Yogi saying that it's still raining in... is it still raining in Spain? The answer is yes, Yogi. Pouring down in some parts of the country. The UK has been sunny. Well, that's the way that it normally goes, isn't it? You come from a normally rainy UK down to what you think is going to be a sunny Spain, and the tables turn. The UK, the sun comes out, and here in Spain, you get stuck in a flash flood. Steve just with a full stop. There we go. Thanks, Steve. Or the Spanish brand Bimbo. Thanks, Alex, for that. Yes, Bimbo bread. Possibly the worst bread I've ever eaten in my life. Now, that's the end of the live stream today. I'm going to wrap it up. It's been a pleasure as always. I'll be back again on Thursday with another one. Stay tuned for that. We'll see if the rains that are hitting the coast at the moment die down and there isn't too much damage. But people are expecting quite heavy rains to come either today or tomorrow, I think. So if you're in that part of Spain, be careful, stay indoors, and if you get stuck in your car in a difficult situation, call for help and tell people exactly where you are. That would be my advice. Hasta luego, hasta entonces, adios, bye-bye. See you on Thursday.